Hello, this is Kerry King and welcome to this video, which is a tutorial on Client Analyzer software. And in today's tutorial, we're going to be looking at using reports to find our highest to lowest rated clients, the largest industry group within our client base, the largest turnover group, the largest employer group, and the top 20% of all clients. This is Client Analyzer, and in our worksheet it's fully populated with all of our client details. These are just samples, of course, and we're going to use this data to analyze what is exactly in our database. So if we look at our highest to lowest as our first analysis, what we'll be using is under the Setup heading, the Sort Data button up in the top left-hand side of the worksheet. But before we do that, what I'll show you is that if you look at the client code, the first column and the second column client name, you'll see that they are all in sequence at the present time. And if we look to the other side of the worksheet in the score column, you'll see that the scores are all different for each client as we go down. There's no particular order. So what we're going to be doing is analysing the complete list of clients and bringing to the top the highest rated client and sorting them so that it goes down to the bottom. One other thing we're going to point out before we go any further is also towards the center and the top of the worksheet is the two cells that say how many equals and then presently shows 153, and that will vary from time to time as we use each of the reports to tell us precisely how many clients are within a particular category, whether it be industry, turnover group or employee numbers, and in fact also our top 20%. So we'll use our Sort Data button now, and if we look at our client code and name, we'll see that it's no longer in sequence. But as we go to the other side of the worksheet and look in the score column, we can now see that the highest scored client is 38.8, dropping to 38 for two clients, then 36.9, 36.8 and so on. And if I scroll down to the bottom of the worksheet, you can see the numbers declining one line at a time, one row at a time, until we get to the very bottom where the last two clients have a rated value to the practice of 17.2. Now once they're sorted in that order, they remain in that order, even though when you add more clients you can do a resort and it will resort them in the same sort of sequence. So if we look at our reports panel, we'll see the first button is our industry button. So we'll use that, and it brings up this window and it says which industry group would you like to look at. So what we'll do is we'll choose the first one as an example, and we'll ask it to write that report and close the window, and we can see there are just 4 lines. And now 153 under the how many equals is now just 4. So we know that we don't have many clients in that particular category. So if we reset our data, and we can choose a different category this time of industry, and this time we'll choose construction and write that report, and we can see now that there are quite a few more clients in that category. In fact, there are 17. So that may or may not be our highest number. So what we'll do is just simply open the report and we'll select another group instead. And let's choose, let's say, professional services. And we'll write that report. And we can see now that our number, how many, has jumped to 28. And so that appears to be, for the time being, our largest industry group. And we'll go further down and we'll choose retail trade and we'll write that report. And there we are, 23 in that particular group. So it could be that retail, and as you go through each industry group, you'll find the highest scoring industry for our particular client base. So reset the data, and the turnover button will work in the same way, except that we'll be using the turnover levels that are stipulated in the annual turnover column. So let's see how many clients we have in the less than 1 million turnover. And we can see that it's 64, which is almost, it's about 40% of our clients are in the less than 64, rather than less than 1 million turnover categories. That's quite big. In fact, it'll probably be our largest. But if we go again and we go to the next level and write that, we can see that drops to 48. So 64 plus 48 clients out of 153, we're up to 112 there. So it looks like being our two major categories of industry turnover. Reset that, and then we'll choose our employees, and we'll choose employees up to 3. We can see there's 54 in that particular category, and we can see most of those are less, in fact all of those are in the less than 1 million annual turnover, which is probably about right given the employee numbers. Choose the employee numbers a second time and move to the next one and write that. 32 there, so we're very heavy in the bottom end in terms of employee size, business size in our client base. So we reset our data, and to find our top 20% of clients, we just simply choose that button from the top, and there we are. And we can see there's been no change physically on the screen of the spreadsheet, and that's because we'd already sorted them in order. But you can see in the how many equals number, there are only 31. So out of our 153 clients, these are the 31 that scored the highest, and we can see the highest score is 38.8 and the lowest is 32. And that completes this tutorial on Client Analyzer. And if you'd like to utilize Client Analyzer in your practice, just go to the bottom of this particular web page, choose the Buy Now button, and you have 3 options there. And I look forward to having you join me again in a future tutorial on Client Analyzer or any of the other business advisor tools of Global Business Mentoring. Thank you for joining me.